Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers Showcase video. In today's video, I'm taking a look at one of your designs that you have linked me in the comments section of one of my videos. And for today, I've chosen a helicopter because I haven't done one in such a long time. So for today, we are looking at the NOD Apache attack helicopter, which is this thing right here. Now this helicopter does use quite a few mods. The most spectacular of them all are those rocket pods you see under those wings. When you fire them, it is just glorious to see how many rockets actually come out in such a short amount of time. But I'll come back to that a little bit later on. So I'm going to start by going around the outside and then we'll go in and see what kind of functionality it has and how it flies. It does use a proper helicopter rotor instead of a projector, which you can see at the top there, so it does kind of follow the proper rules of helicopters that you might see in games such as Arma, although it is severely limited by space engineers, so it sort of works. So at the front here, we can see we've got a camera and a laser antenna. Now these two blocks are sitting on a rotor, which can be controlled with the passenger seat, which sits behind the pilot seat. So you can see it right there, just in front of the rotor and just behind where I'm sitting. Now that seat and that camera are for the gun which sits underneath. It is a little bit dodgy while landing the helicopter, but when you're actually in the air and firing it, it's a very cool thing to fire. And when you're in third person, you can see everything moving around, which is absolutely fantastic to watch. As we come across, we can see we've got some red stripes on the grey paint, which is a nice way of breaking up that grey colouring without adding too many decorational blocks. We do have a small little access point there, which is for the fighter cockpits, so if you wanted to put some oxygen bottles and stuff in there, that's how you'd do it. Underneath, we can see we've got some wheels there, which are very bouncy. It's another one of these modded wheel types, which are exceptionally bouncy when you try and land, and you have to make sure you come in at a very slow pace, or you're just going to go back up to space. Turning around and looking at the wings, we got the glorious rocket pods, but I'll talk about them some more a little bit later on. We can also see that the wings that are attached to them are very basic, but done in a way and coloured in a way that look great. Coming up and above, we got a atmospheric thruster, which is going to help us move along with those propellers at the top there. And as we come across, if I just very quickly take a sneaky look inside here, you're going to see something rather amazing. I will tear this down a little bit later on to see what's going on here, but coming inside, we have missiles. Now what missiles are doing inside a small little thruster part, I do not know, but I'll figure that out a little bit later. Coming around the back, we've got a unfinished block, which is a sort of like an air intake outtake thing, which you quite often see on atmospheric planes. And as we come along the back, we've got some lovely block work there using the corners and the diagonal blocks and some more paint. Moving across to the tail, we got another propeller. Yes, as for the little fin on the back there, we got some nice patterns. A little paint there, using the carbon fiber skin. And as we drop down, we got a wheel on its side. In fact, let me just get rid of some of this grass here so you can see it properly. Let's just go and there we go. You can see the wheel there, which is just sitting at the back there, which you can bounce on. Yes, it's very bouncy. Moving forwards and up, we can see we've got a gyroscope just under that wheel, which is how we're going to control the thrusters and make this thing work. What I don't normally do, which I will do this time and more often, is go straight through the body. So what do we have inside these blocks? Well, we can see batteries inside here. Quite a lot of batteries, in fact. And moving along to underneath the cockpit, we can see we've got a conveyor there which comes down to a connector underneath it. Moving towards the front, we got some more rotors, which are for the wheels to attach onto and get their angle. And moving forwards, we got another rotor there, which is how the gun is going to turn around. And towards the front, nothing too much. So coming up and above, we don't really have too much to talk about that I haven't talked about already. We can just see the lovely propeller there, which is going to spin around, and I don't think it can damage people, but I will test it considering it looks like a razor sharp edge there. So this ammo rack here, which is hidden inside the little engine type thing, is in fact an explosive. So you can build it like so and just drop it down. Please ignore all the bombs everywhere, I've been having a little bit of fun. But we can just shoot it, and it will explode. Kind of like that. Oh, that was laggy. Wow, look at all the effects everywhere. But yes, that is what they are. They are simply explosive, so if you get shot in the wing, your helicopter will take quite a lot of damage. Although, as you can see there, it didn't really do too much. I'm sure you can still take off now. Yeah, you can still fly around, look at that. We max out the power, but everything is fine. So yes, coming into my character and bringing up the HUD, we have a few options what we can do. Number one, we get the sound effects and the propeller starts moving. But I will very quickly see if I can slice myself. Nope, you can't slice yourself, unfortunately. That's kind of a shame. Would have been quite funny to make a meat grinder. Yes, we get the sound effects and it spins around all lovely. Even from the cockpit, it looks great. And then we can just press space and lift ourselves up. Now for the moment of glory. Let's use the Viper rocket pod. Oh yes! They fire in a way that's sort of like a scatter missile, so you're just gonna bombard whatever you hit. If I just tilt myself down, in fact, I've got to be careful here because it is a helicopter, and start shooting the ground, that's a lot of damage. No flex tape is gonna solve that. And you can see when I'm stopping there, it automatically tilts me backwards in order to stop myself from stopping, and it'll sort of go in a like a rocking chair type motion until you're sitting still. That is because of the helicopter thruster, and that is why I kind of compared it to the armor helicopters. So yes, let's just shoot the ground here. Oh, that is just lovely to hear. And let the grass settle. And there we go, there's all the damage done. So number two, these don't have any names here. One thing I will recommend is making sure you actually have the proper names for them. Number two is for landing. So pressing that doesn't seem to do anything, but it does slow you down a lot, allowing you to just come down. So if I just very carefully just tilt myself across, as you can see there, the helicopter automatically tilted a little bit, and just drop myself down. There we go. We're a bit bouncy, but we can land, and we're very close to hitting that gun, which is something I mentioned earlier. Pressing number one, we can just take off again. And I'm just going to hover there before I go into any other options, get out and get into this chair. Now I need to find the free camera wherever this has gone. Where is the helicopter gone? There it is. And just bring myself to tilt myself in kind of this direction. So we got a rotor lock on and off, so if you want to have it locked and not move around while you're flying, you can do that. But I would like to have that turned off, and I would like to control the gun. So I'm going to press 4, and then turn my mouse. The camera and the laser antenna, and the gun underneath, will turn around. And then I can start firing it. You can't really see any animation there, it is a little bit off the screen. There is that. If I come back into my character and into the camera, we can see it like this. I'd like to shoot over there. And there we go. If I put the rotor lock on, I can't move, and it'll simply try and move the helicopter. But there's that. It's a very neat little thing to play around with. Number 3 on the main cockpit is manual control. So we lose the functionality of the helicopter and can simply fly it like a regular plane. And then we just press 1 to sort ourselves out. Number 4 will turn off the propellers, and will basically be for turning off once you've landed. Oop, 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 oop. There we go. I was coming in too hot there. Yes, once you've landed and all that. So here we are, we've landed. We can press 4. The propellers will stop moving, and yeah, it just switches off. Number 7 is to control the Gatling gun from the first cockpit. There we go, that's very loud, that's why I paused. Anyway, let's take off and go for a little fly. So we've got to get a nice lot of height, so we are using a helicopter. Then we need to go forwards, but not too forwards. You do have to kind of control it a little bit with the mouse in order to get yourself to move forwards. And it is very wildly uncontrollable at this height. But we can go into 3 if you want to manually control it. If you're losing control, that's one way of getting around it. So we just fly around here. It's really nice to fly, actually. It's very well... The mod for the helicopter wings is very well done. And the helicopter itself is very well done and a joy to play, especially these things. Look at them go. Ah, can't get tired of them ones. Let's just wait for them to reload and just come past it. This poor patch of ice over here. I built even more turrets and tested some more things over here. Yes. We can just keep flying. Fire all the rockets. Oh, they can fire for such a long time there. And then we can keep going. So now what I'm going to do is just activate number 1 again and try and stop myself. So I'm just taking my hands off the keyboard. We're going to let it do what it wants to do and hopefully it'll stop flying and we'll come to a halt. So it's readjusting itself and there we go. It's now just going to do its little wonky tilty thing. And good. I'm actually doing quite well for a helicopter. In Arma 2, I was, well, if you ride with me, you're not coming out of it alive. I always land way too hard. But yes, that is basically it for this video. If I find F10 and find the Nod Apache attack helicopter, this helicopter weighs in at 835 small blocks, which is quite small actually for what it is fairly large with its size, and it is a lot of fun, especially those things. Look at them. Oh, imagine if you had like 20 of them on both sides. No, I'm getting distracted here. Yes, so this is the Nod Apache attack helicopter. It'll be in the description below if you wish to download and play around with it yourself. And I'll be back with another showcase video some point soon. Bye bye.